This entire military is one cohesive, dedicated force. And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
Make it clear that the views expressed by our host are not considered the official stance of MBR views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the ride.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines with hosts MJ and Terry. Each week we put today's news into perspective. Tune in Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, X, YouTube, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV, or anywhere you get your podcasts. MBR, giving veterans a voice.
Beyond the Headlines is back. I am MJ and my partner over here is Terry. And I do believe HR Nightmare will be joining us. When you hear the train coming around that bend, he'll be with us. So get ready with, I don't know if you want earmuffs or if you want tags or I'm not sure what you want. But we got HR to bring in the little funny bone action going on. So it is a beautiful day. Yes, I am darned in Jose Flores because he is such an inspiration to me. So if you saw me early this morning, don't normally look like this, but because it is Cinco de Mayo, my friend is of Spanish derivative of that Mexican descent. I am in his honor today. So there you have it.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Yes, I don't have tequila and I don't have a margarita, but I got some Dasani. So that will have to work right now.
That'll work. That works.
That'll work. So how you been, Terry? What's going on this week for my friend Terry?
It's been good. Do you want to talk about the headline first or you want to do yours first?
Nope, let's do you, baby girl. Let's go.
So I was really confused why President Trump wants to rename Veterans Day into Victory Day. I think that's what he's calling it. Victory Day for World War I. And then he wants to do a second on May 8th for World War II. So I don't really have any problems celebrating victories. I mean, I think that's great. And I think we should celebrate our wins. Obviously, we have some losses too, unfortunately. But the wins, I agree. We can celebrate those. But what happens to all the other veterans for all the other campaigns that we've been in? If we target a certain day for a certain campaign, then what does that look like? I mean, do we have campaigns every month that we're celebrating? And if so, okay, cool. But do we really need a Veterans Day renamed to something else? Can't we celebrate all veterans on Veterans Day? Or does it have to be particular to a campaign or to a battle or to those particular soldiers? I'm just a little confused about why. I understand about celebrating and acknowledging those service members that have given their all for those advances in wartime. Have no problem with that. But I really don't understand limiting a Veterans Day celebration to just one category of veterans. I don't understand that.
So I'm going to put a flip.
Okay.
How about that? In our conscious mind, I see him taking something and putting a positive twist. Not that Veterans Day is not a positive twist, but it's very somber, especially
Yes.
Memorial Day here, right? So if he's looking at that, he wants it more to be a heroic state of a win. He wants, in my interpretation, he doesn't want to look at anybody. I understand disabilities and I understand the death that comes along with it. But I also want everybody to understand how brave and hero these people were, not because they're disabled, but because they were out there to fight for us and our freedom. And every time that we have a higher freedom or a higher elevation of that freedom, it's a victory for him. And I'm going to go with that twist to make it positive because that's what I need to find. So I don't know. Is that on me?
I don't think that one's for us.
I don't know what that is. Oh, look. Is it the studio? It's the studio.
Well, it's the studio phone, but it's actually.
We have a caller.
Oh, well.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Who are we talking to?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Yes. Hello. May I speak to Mr. Hunt?
You sure?
You might want to take him offline.
I'll call back.
Okay. Well, Mr. Hunt is behind the scenes. He didn't even hear his H train come through yet. So we know he's close by. But anyway, this is my twist. And I don't know, sometimes I believe he says things also just because he's kind of like that, to either see the negatives or the positive, how people react to what he does.
That's true. He does like fire for effect.
He does. And he likes to push those buttons and he goes, okay, calm down now. Just calm down.
Right. I'm not really going to do that, psych. I was just teasing. That was just to get your attention.
Right. It was just a thought process that I was having. I don't know if it's a valid thought. I don't know. I just want your opinion. And you know what? God bless him for doing that, because the American people use this thing called the boca like no tomorrow. They just want to fly with it. They just want it out there. They just want it. And so for that matter, guess what? I'm very good with it. And I also want to say hello. I did welcome Tony, and I put him up there from the Hoosiers Mind. He is such a blessing to have, and he's so game oriented, and
he's so good at analyzing and providing statistics and really kind of delving into the details of that sports.
He is.
Sports scene. He's really good at that.
What an engineer, analytical mind that man has.
Indeed.
But you see, we have this problem. He likes really to odds against Penn State. No, I'm just teasing. Time out, Tony. I'm just teasing.
I don't think he likes my Dolphins either. So.
I don't like your Dolphins either. And I was in Miami for a long time. Well, I'm with him. I'm with him on that one. So how's that flip? Did that flip make it a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. And I don't, like I said, I don't really have any problems celebrating different victories. I really don't. I'm trying to wrap my head around multiple days and celebrating multiple people. How do we do it? What does that look like? And so, I mean, I do understand that he does just fire for effect, just says things just to kind of gauge reaction or to get people to start listening. Like, what did he just say? And like really listening to what he's saying, because that's the way he draws people in, is to say something really random and out there. And then they go, what? And then they have to start listening in or delving into the details. And it really kind of then, you know.
Oh, I got your attention.
Yes. Oh, so you were listening. Okay. I thought you weren't. Now I know you are. So now we can talk.
That is so fun. To me, and there it is the ego judgment getting in the way of just what are we doing? Like that would be me. My comment would have been, the wait. What are we doing? And why are we doing it? And how's it going to benefit? And so I don't know. That's my take. I don't get too emotional with that. I don't think I can. Because I looked at it, how many cancers now, and then they made breast cancer, and I'm a breast cancer survivor. So, but then they made breast cancer the whole month of October, and I'm like, wow, hey, thanks. Right. Not just one day. Right.
Right.
So then they had Pride Month. That was another one the whole month. Okay. Well, maybe if he changes it, maybe the vets every month will have something different. There's another positive outlook.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I would say too is, though, if you're going to be like spending money on these different celebrations or whatever, I'd sooner see that money spent on veterans and in making sure they've got the care they need, making sure they have the resources they need, and retirees, same way. Sometimes it's hard to get retiree problems solved, like pay, like if you need your retirement points fixed, if you're a reservist, or if you just need a new ID card, to get an ID card, it's a 2-month wait. Wow. In almost anywhere you go, it's 2 months. And the only thing you can do is just go in on walk-in basis and hope you get seen that day. If somebody doesn't show up, or maybe if somebody is a quick ID card, solution, like all they need is a picture and then a card and that's it, and no updates. So some people move quite quickly through the system, but I'd sooner see extra money spent on really taking care of veterans than just celebrating the wins. That's my perspective on it. Not that I don't think we should celebrate those things. I do. But if we're going to add celebrations on and we're spending money where it comes to that, I think that money is better well spent taking care of veterans, retirees, and that type of thing, because the two systems don't talk. The VA doesn't talk to the people that actually issue the cards, because they're two separate cards. Like my name is in two different states.
Systems.
Yeah. So, and I have to update both of them. They don't update together. So why can't they kind of collide seamlessly? And then if you update one, it updates both, instead of you having to work this one and then work this one too. So that's, I guess, my
I want to say that more with the Department of Defense issues, because isn't everything, even the VA, through the Department of Defense?
So when I got my ID card, I had to go get it at a base, and it's a 2-month wait, but I went and just sat there and hoped for the best, because I needed it to get records so that I could apply for my retirement. Yeah. So I had to go sit there and wait. Otherwise, I waited till July to get an appointment. And so then after I did that, then I had to go wait at the VA to get my other ID card, because they're two separate ones. And my name's different in their system than it is in the DOD system. Yeah, and it seems like they could talk. And so I'd really rather see them put the two systems together in some fashion, where they talked back and forth, maybe an update, an import or an export of the data.
Yeah.
Instead
another
of being two separate standalones.
See, another problem with females. Females, we go ahead and we take the man's name, then we screw up our shit. Don't change your name. It's an old pattern. They're not no, I'm only kidding. They are worth it. But is it worth the aggravation to change it? Aren't you the same person? Are you really the same person? Isn't that an old belief system that we have to change that name? I don't have to do anything, right?
No,
but I think it's an old belief flip pet. Trust me, I told you 3 different times I had my name changed.
Right.
The VA and the military are so confused. I'm just like, I'm a nobody anymore. So they don't know who the hell is coming and going.
Well, I couldn't go on my first deployment or with the unit because they were trying to do my security clearance, and I had 3 different names they had to run down. And so it took them too long. So I didn't get my clearance in time to go on. You said a sex change. So it took me too long to get my clearance, so I couldn't go. So I was bummed.
I just think sometimes with evolution and change, we need to change, right? And maybe that's what that whole thing is about, Terry. Maybe that's what he's saying. Maybe it's time for a change. Do you know who Trump reminds me of? I know I'm going to get flack for this, but
Who?
he reminds me of one of like a bulldog who is in the dog pens, and you have the dog, how you have the dog parks, and you always have the bully in the dog parks.
Yes, that wants to bark at everybody.
Right. Or he wants to lift his leg and piss everywhere everybody else pissed.
And raise a ruckus.
Right. He just wants to leave his mark, right?
Right.
So that's what he reminds me of. I'm sorry if I hurt anybody.
Well, I think it's time for our first break. So you want to take our first break?
Let's go. Here we go.
Right. So let's listen to Jess Muse, Lavender Skies. She is just now in OCS for the Coast Guard. She just shipped like last week. So she's in like her first real week. So I'm sure she's feeling it now.
All right, let's do her.
You're just as scared as I am of this. But we both know love is always a risk. And when the storm clouds come, most will run away. But between you and I, all I have to say is, baby, we belong together, you and I. Even through the worst weather, the sun will always rise. And through the darkest nights, we will be just fine. And we'll be left with lavender sky, lavender sky. We've both been hurt like hell before, but we both know sometimes love is a war. And when the storm clouds come, us won't stand in the rain and dance. But between you and I, we should take a chance. 'Cause baby, we belong together, you and I. Even through the worst weather, the sun will always rise. And through the darkest nights, we will be just
The station.
All
The
right.
station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
Okay.
That's a hairpin trigger mouse, is what that is.
Okay. And I also, that duck, we got to do something because I almost feel like the duck's calling me a quack. I'm getting like this complex every time I see this duck. Where's that H-Train guy? Because I'm like, you're a quack. No, you're a quack. I just want to punch his lights out. Do you think there's emotional trauma there with a duck?
I don't know. Maybe we need to investigate that further.
H is in the building now.
He's gonna look for it.
Oh, come on. He ain't that great.
Where's that quack? So
Right here. I got unmute myself.
that means HR Nightmare is on a studio.
Yeah, I gotta fix that. Hold on. There we go. All right, there we go.
Hey, Jewel, your duck's calling me a quack. I think I'm getting an emotional breakdown here.
No, you're not the first person that has said something. You know, I guess when we redo the cartoon, we'll voice something other than quack. But you know, going back quack, it's kind of funny. I guess
Or you can make sure he points at it and then say quack, and then we're not guessing. It's true. You're really calling me a quack. One of the two.
Think about that though.
Right. I'm like, dude, that guy that duck has something against me.
MJ has a duck complex.
I do.
I guess so.
Maybe
Oh,
I killed
man.
too many ducks in my lifetime.
So I love the two topics that you came up with, and I wanted to give my point of view. The Veterans Day, you know, this is how I feel.
Okay.
And I've always supported Trump. I've
Those
always
braids aren't
supported.
too tight before you speak, right?
Huh?
Those braids aren't too tight on the brain before you speak.
No.
Okay, just checking.
What I was gonna say is
I need to be a woman.
what I was gonna say is, you know, like there's more things to do, and I get it. When you change names and stuff, that's probably a lot cheaper than it is doing things. But it's almost like kind of like the VA when everybody was talking about, you know, the numbers of homelessness that was increasing, and then 6 months later, oh well, now you can log in and check your, you know, e-files and your, you know, veteran emails and stuff like that, but yet, you know, we can't figure out a way to help these veterans that are homeless, you know. And some of them you're exactly right. I know what you're going to say. Some of them don't want to be confined to four walls because they don't want an obligation. That's what it distributes to, is an obligation. But that doesn't mean that we can't reach out to them and sit with them at least, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes a day, take them some medication, make sure they take the medication, because I guarantee you, once they get their brain and stuff leveled out and everything, that could fix society. I'm telling you, you know, all the time they talk about all these like drugs and stuff. Hey, if you have a overfill or expired drugs or whatever, you know, bring them to the VA so we can dispose of them. You know, we all know that they have so much dedicated into meds and stuff. I'm telling you, if we could treat everybody, I think the world would be a different place, because 90% of us are on some kind of pills, if not Advil.
But here we go again. We're okay, because you know me and big pharma. So my flip on this is, how bad do we need those pills? How bad are we not healing ourselves? How bad are we in a conditioned human pattern stating that we have to have those to feel better, and not healing the trauma that is causing it? Most of these pills are PTSD, or mind altering mental awareness and mental illness pills that the VA dishes out. We know this. So we're altering our veterans' minds due to PTSD or TBIs, but we're not fixing it. We're not fixing the problem. We are masking it with these stupid meds. Now, I'm not saying heart conditions and everything else, but then again, heart conditions and everything else. Where is New Age medicine? Why is it that we are not using New Age medicine when we know it exists? And
And that's the whole point, is why are we worried about all this stupid shit that doesn't need to be done, rather than worrying about the stuff that needs to be done, you know? Like, who cares what day we name it? What we need to do is we need to focus on okay, look, we get it. You won the election by electronical votes, the most popular vote, blah, blah. Okay, Al Bundy, that shit's over there. All right. Now we're here. Okay. And we need to figure out how are we going to make other people, feel less stress with all this, tariffs and stuff. That's fine, Trump. If you want to do the tariff stuff, that's fine. But as a president, you should have a backup plan before you initiate something, because it doesn't look like they were ready for this, just like they weren't ready for COVID. But he's creating his own COVID. That's what he's doing.
I'm laughing not because of COVID. I'm laughing because I agree that his mouth gets him in more trouble than anything else, because in the long run, he speaks on his mind of ideas, like we were talking about with
before he vets them. Yeah.
Right. And I think what he does that to get the whim. And since he could care less who hates him and who loves him, he just wants to see what the majority of the people are saying. And the population in whole has gotten to be so mouthy and so poignant that he's going to hear if it's a good thing or a bad thing. He's going to hear it. So for me, I feel that he likes to ruffle feathers just to get what it is back. Like, he needs to get that information. There's no other way to get it except putting on social media, because everybody but baby boomers seems to be on social media trying to figure out what's next. So in that aspect, you have more of a population going to have a rebuttal on social medias according to what he wants to do. That's my take for whatever it is, because I have to find, like I said before, I have to find conscious positive in it all. And if it's not, then it just let it all play out, because divine will always play everything out beautifully.
Right.
It always does. And it always will. And then we learn our lessons and then we go forward. And, so yes, so you can sit here and we can complain about it, but we can't complain because nothing's been done.
Man, every time he does something that I don't like, I just think to myself, damn, man, couldn't you have went golfing today? I mean,
Let's go golfing. Stop talking right now. Just go golfing. Take a break. Take a pause. You're at a 10. I'm going to need you at a 5.
People need to gripe about him playing golf, because he needs to do something or you're going to hear his mouth.
The man has too much energy.
He does. He doesn't sleep much. He only sleeps
got to do something,
minimal hours a night, and he works all the time, constantly. He does.
He's a 4-hour kind of guy. Yeah, he's been that way his whole life. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're ragging on Trump. So all you people, we're not ragging. We're assisting. We're assisting and understanding what he's trying to do. So we're going to flip that, because that's not how that works either. So. But I do believe he's a radical. he is a radical. You know, people don't like that. But you know what? I don't know if there's a military person out there who's not radical, right? You get put on a line and you're going to do something. You're going to make a quick decision, or you're going to make a quick speech about something. And that's just how I look at that. I am it, right? If I am pushed where I have to make a quick decision, I speak out loud and everybody like comes back at me and I'm like, stop. I'm talking it out, right? Because that's human process. Talk it out. So unless you get it out, you can't talk it out. Same as every type of healing in the world. If we don't speak it out or we don't talk it out, nobody ever knows what you're thinking. Nobody ever knows what's going on up here. So now, you know, so I look at that going, thanks for letting me know what you're thinking, but I don't think it's a good idea. But I'll sit over here. And see what the rest of the world wants to conjure up and spew out their boca and, you know, see how that works. Do you really think he's going to do it? I don't know.
I don't know either. He might have too much pushback to do it, or it may just be some way of him kind of pushing a bigger issue, not really that one.
Yeah, the next thing you got to know, it's going to be, especially with the veterans in the military, it's going to go back to him calling, what's his name, not a hero. And it's going to bring up all this other shit because people aren't healed from it. And then it's going to be that he wasn't in the military, he was a coward. And it's going to be a domino effect with this. You watch. And it's going to be, can't you just wait? Just wait. Just wait. Just wait for it. Right? See what he's going to do next. That's how it was. Most of the European countries backed out of the tariffs, exactly what he tried to do. The only one who's playing hardball is Mr. Chinaman. And of course, it's always Mr. Chinaman because China and Russia are always in the back pockets of one another. So it's always worked out in that favor. So now you have to realize, I don't know if you all saw this, but the satellites picked up his huge underground nuclear stuff underground. Did you see that?
I don't think I did.
So that was on the news, not on the news. It was on the forums, on the internet. Yes, I know, blah blah blah. But they actually have pictures from the satellites taking the pictures above Russia, just like Russia takes our pictures and what we do in our fields and in our deserts. So we now know that he has almost a size of a pentagon under the ground that he's building with rebarb for a nuclear under like a headquarter. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, people get very upset with Mr. Trump and these tariffs with China. And did you see that? Then this is how it all fumbles down. Jeff Bezos. Did you see about Jeff Bezos selling his shares? 890 billion, I think it was. Did you see that?
No.
So
yeah, laid off a bunch of people too.
Yeah. So Mr. Bezos, jackass that he is. Sorry, did I say that out loud again? Cancel, clear, delete. Mr. Bezos was invited to the Oval Office on Inauguration Day. Mr. Bezos just pads pockets of every politician so that his company got ahead in life, Mr. Capitalism. Mr. Capitalism, even though Trump said no more imports, no more this, no more that, he made an under-the-table contract with China so that Amazon didn't fall to pieces. Because Amazon has a whole bunch of contracts with China.
That's true.
So when I guess somebody from the administration supposedly had called him out on it, he decided he was selling his $890 billion shares.
Wow.
You think that's enough to live on for the rest of his life?
I would think.
Yeah. So that's the kind of person that guy is. So do I trust that information? I never trusted Mr. Bezos to begin with. And seeing as I ordered a fire cover. You know how you have those little fireplaces? I ordered one for my mother. I ordered it over 2 weeks ago. She goes, what happened? I go, I have no idea. I have Prime. It should have been there. I have no. So I look at it. Made in China.
Yeah.
I go, it is on literally the slow boat from China trying to evade tariffs and go around every sea imaginable around this world. I am sure that's why it's taking so long. That is a guess, people. I'm not really, I don't know. But and I looked at my mother and I said, I understand that's what you wanted. I understand that's what you gave me. I go, but I could have went down to Kohl's and had one made in the USA in canvas and you would have had it already. That's not what she wanted. So do we see the problem? Yes, because greed takes over mental acuity or mental awareness of what we're supposed to be doing. Supposed to be. Does that make sense? Makes sense.
Do you want to take a quick break and then we'll come back and talk about your topic?
Oh, yes. Let's do
All
it.
right, let's do it. Let's do Coffee Anderson. You can't spell hero without her.
Her.
Signed up to fight for freedom. What a price you had to pay. Picture in her helmet, missing family every day. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane. Some scars we'll never see. She will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter. She's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. On that old dusty base with the meadows that shine, she's been to hell and back for the stars and the stripes. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane, and some scars we'll never see, and she will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. Yeah, yes. For the ones that didn't make it, we will pause and then we cry. We can still see their smile in every sunrise. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend, standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.com.
We're back. How did that duck me?
She's trying to punch out the duck.
Be nice to Beaker. He's had a hard life.
He's had a hard day.
That's backwards, Joel. I'm gonna call him Frankie.
You know, we're supposed to get some new ducks here pretty soon, and these are what they're gonna look like. They're little ducks and jeeps, and then on the hood of it, it's gonna have the MBR logo, and we're working with them to mold it to where they have headsets.
Aww.
And I have to remind everybody that my wife is now an author, and she has published 5 books. One of them, "Oh, We Love You, Die Tired."
We for sure do.
And one thing, her first book, we for some reason it just keeps coming back. No. But she's got one published, and we just published 3 yesterday. It usually takes about 3 days for Amazon to review and stuff like that. But we're gonna have cartoons, but this is kind of like the map to the cartoons. This is because this is the way I'm looking at it. All right, when a veteran is with a kid, the kid probably isn't going to understand, the writing. He probably isn't going to understand the writing to begin with, but the veteran can. And while they're coloring, and the veteran's looking at all this information on how to navigate through something, it gives them a little bit more confidence. Like, oh shit, that's how you do it. Okay, we can try this, and it gives them a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Fairly good, Cassie. We love you. Thank you out there. It's also a good meditation tool. Just saying.
It is, yeah. Stress reliever.
It is.
To color, yeah.
Adult coloring, yeah. It's supposed to relieve the tension. And in Buddhism, they teach you that in coloring like a mandala, if you start in to go out, then you got your answers by the time you color out. If you go out to come in, then you have the reason why things are not working. You have a different perspective. Just a little tad bit of information there. So either way, it's all good. But please, I would like to see you guys bend down and shake your tail feathers with that duck. Love you, Joel. Hey, I ask and he delivers. This man. This man always delivers.
Be careful what you ask and wish for.
We don't need any moons over Colorado right now. No, I'm kidding. Going to get his moon over Miami. And when you're drunk and you're at a carnival and they're like, moons, I got a moon for your hammy. Yikes. So my topic, I happened to see on the news. This one came right off the news and I just laughed. I laughed, but then I saw purpose, and then purpose turned in. So here we go. Trumpism again. He's thinking aloud, right?
Again, yeah.
That he wants Alcatraz to reopen as a jail and remove it from the Interior Department of Interior. Department of Interior is our national parks. So he would like to remove Alcatraz so he can utilize this. Now, his thought thinking is because the Democrats and the liberals, unfortunately, everything he does, they're using taxpayer money to sue his ass to do things. That's sickening. It is sickening. And here you go. You'll never hear me say it in my entire life again, but kudos to Bill Maher. Kudos to Bill Maher, whether you like him or not, kudos to him, because if you didn't see the Shift interview that he did, he called him out. So for every Democrat and liberal, please go look at Bill Maher, because he puts it into perspective. MSNBC finally stood up and said, why did you put, and they have it on Pelosi now, they have it on Barack, they have it on Biden, they have it on a lot of them, that they were blowing up their screens and their followers to listen. And so this Alcatraz thing is his idea of saying, you know what, good. But my people come before immigrant, what's a word I want to use? Bad person, right? They come before the bad immigrants. He has yet to send every immigrant who is here illegally out. But what he has done with the help of all his teams is try to get the gang members out, try to get those who are corrupting of justice and corruption of everyday living. So his thought process, his loud thought process was, well, I'll just open up that jail. Well, you do know Pelosi wanted to put a stop to that, and so did Schiff, and so did, what's the other guy's name? Ugh.
Well, and I think it's important for people to know that when they talk about, arresting these immigrants and sending them back and stuff, these immigrants that they're talking about are not the ones that are outside of Home Depot. They're not the ones that are outside holding signs, people.
No.
These guys are like convicted felons. The only way they would be able to tell that they were even around or in the area is because, they, I don't want to say they have a barcode on them, but they have yeah. Exactly.
They're numbered, they're tagged, they know who they are. They've committed heinous crimes, even to the point of murders. And so why are our congressmen, senators that people voted in, why you would vote these people in is beyond me. Newsom was the other guy. And so Trump said, I want to know how much it's going to be to reopen this. Now, MJ, in her beautiful youth in the military, got to go to Castle Air Force Base, but that's pretty close to San Francisco, to Alcatraz. But it wasn't good enough just to be a visitor to tour. No. MJ had to force a cell door just so I could get my picture in there. Now, guess what happened? MJ spent 8 hours in Alcatraz in a cell because the door could not come back open. So, Mr. Trump, there's a lot of issues with the doors. I'm just saying.
Just don't close the door on yourself. You're not getting back out.
There's a reason why it's closed. You go to a fast food restaurant, nobody sticks around if there's an ambulance there. They kind of tend to walk the other direction.
Like, yeah, we'll choose
Here's your side, buddy.
Right. 8 hours I sat and I watched everybody going, do yourself a favor, don't shut the door to get a picture. Please don't. You'll be in your cell because they can't find the guy to come and fix the electric and fix the mechanism. So now I'm stuck. Crowbars didn't work. But 8 hours later, I got out. It was all good then. Yeah. I didn't like it. Had to use the toilet and didn't care it didn't flush. I had to use it. They had to block the window for me. But it was a trip. And yeah, it's a big facility. And yes, there is electric there and there is food in there. They have operations that they can. As beat up as the jail is, well, look at Gitmo, right? How much did it cost to house them down in Gitmo and redo all of those barracks? The same thing. It's not, he speaks, but sometimes he just doesn't do. He just speaks to get people's ideas and how they feel about it. Again, I don't know. I can tell you, Mr. Trump, there's a definite cell issue going on. I don't know how much that's going to cost you, but to take it back from the national park, where our tax dollars are already paying for it. So, and it's
I would say a suggestion to Trump is when you're bored and you don't want to go on Amazon and you don't want to watch Full House and all those great, TV commercials on Nickelodeon at night. Here's a suggestion. There, Mr. President, you have a huge pull. Like when you talk, people listen. And what I would suggest is, especially here lately, there's a lot of missing kids being reported a lot more lately. And we already know about the sex trafficking that is happening in this country. I would say every week they would put they would smear, hey, this is the child of the week that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Get it all out there. Because when somebody has to come to us as a media place to do a missing kids report, we're going to try our best, but we're not even going to come close to what the mainstream media can do.
Yeah, true that.
I'm just being honest.
And that's all it takes. Sometimes you just got to be honest, and sometimes you just got to put it out there. And like I said, he's one of those presidents that likes to spill his mouth on social medias just to get everybody's opinion. And when that happens on every platform, you're going to get everybody's opinion. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. It's not how I would do it, but
hell, Channel 9 can just put up a post and they get opinion. Everybody's a law expert in the comments.
That's like every president. What is it? Every election, everybody becomes a political science major.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, and you were a waitress yesterday, but a political science today. And you were a carpenter yesterday, and you were a nurse. Oh my goodness. Now we're all political science. And we all know for sure. So yeah. So I don't know. I don't know about that, but I think it's a good idea. Gitmo was a great idea. It didn't cost too much for the United States taxpayers, but at least it got them off our grounds. And if the Democrats and liberals want them here, for whatever stupid reason that they want them still here, well, they're going to be here, but, raping, killing, stealing, grand theft.
Food and storage. Look, it worked for Australia.
Yeah. So, it's funny because Australia is the same as England, and they took guns. They banned guns. And I was like, yes, because that gun can kill one, or an auto could kill what? How many rounds in an auto? 50? How many rounds? Anybody know?
Depends on the magazine.
I don't know. I don't do math in public.
Right. So let's just say 50 rounds, right? So now you have 1 to 50 in these rounds. But because you banned guns in your country, now you have people who are loading vans with explosives and taking out complete convention centers, Okay, so now we're killing thousands at a time or hundreds at a time, not one, because of a gun. Now, then what they're doing now is absolutely, so now they're allowed to have a knife. You're allowed to have a knife. So what do you think is more gruesome, walking down the street and somebody, stabs into your spleen and have a fighting chance, or somebody who has a gunshot? I'm very conflicted with this. There is not a good belief in flip pattern besides keep your hands to yourself and all your ammos. That's the only belief in flip you have. And it's not the gun that kills the people. It's the person that kills the people. It is the unhealed that kills the people. I blame it. I'm sorry, Joel, but I do. I blame it on some of these really, really violent video games for these young kids.
I know. We talked about that before.
These parents are not watching these kids. We watch them like faucetating one of these things because they are so realistic. I mean, before Super Mario, where are you going to find a Super Mario dragon to kill? Your best luck was on Halloween. Oh, there it is. I'm going to pop his head. But now it's not. I don't know if the cognitive mind of these kids are understanding what's real and what's not real anymore.
Well, and you don't know how they were brought up either. They could have been brought up in an orphanage or from a broken home. I wasn't brought up in no broken home, but, I got transferred to 5 different schools within like the first one of the school years. That's a lot of PCS, if you get what I mean. We don't. And for example, like a woman. I don't know if it was last week, but well, I told you guys about Betsy Ross. Where she had that negative comment, and I kind of wrote her. I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. Sometimes people's effects from somebody else's cause is because of the way they were brought up, or maybe they got triggered. It doesn't take much of a trigger if you can be triggered.
Yeah,
True, because you have all these trigger words to trigger the emotion, to trigger the physical.
Right.
And that is very good, which we teach with the PTSD. know your trigger words, know, and then have your list of rebounds, right?
Yeah.
That subject as quick as it comes in. So, I can't think of any normal mentally person who would just go to a school with a gun and start killing people. There is some mental problems here, big time.
Yeah.
Or the education is with a lot of people that you're going to upset me. I'm going to take you.
In that situation, I think a lot of those shootings happen because they're bullied and in like the high school and stuff, and they just keep it on. We don't know what they're thinking, you know. No killer has ever made a documentary, you know, and or killed a bunch of people, got out, and then made a documentary. We don't know what they're thinking, but that's what I would be thinking if I got stuffed in a locker, you know, which I did.
What happened to the old stuffing in the locker, or
yeah,
people, or
kids can be really hateful.
Yeah,
and we all know that when people are hateful, and you get to that moment where you're angry, you know how you always say, one more thing, and I'm just gonna go meltdown. You know, there's always one more thing, and that's what I think that the kids go through, especially when they get bullied. Yeah, exactly. That was TikTok. I did not do anything.
Oh my God,
that is TikTok.
I love TikTok off of random.
So that comes from emo. So when she talks, or when anybody comments or anything on TikTok, we're gonna hear it.
So did you see that lawsuit?
Thank you, TikTok.
Against Siri? There's a big lawsuit, like $98 million or $98 billion with Siri.
Why?
Invading of personal rights, privacy, because it listens in. Where do you think AI came from? Now
that
they're
was super delayed.
Siri, stop. Siri, you're a pain in my ass.
Oh, wow.
I would never allow.
There's times with me and Tracer late at night, and all of a sudden it just goes off. And I didn't say anything.
You're interrupting the show. See, Joel, there you go. MBR can go. And I'm going to get into this with my podcast. Siri interrupted my complete podcast, and now I'm going to be into the third class action suit against Siri. Mind your damn business, Siri. You are working for Big Daddy. I see you.
Every time they call my name at work, they think it's saying Siri. So Siri wakes up and starts talking because they say Terri, and then Siri goes, "Yes, what do you need?"
Well, Emo, thanks for tuning in over at TikTok. She's like, oh wow, because when she types something, we got another thing coming in. I think I don't know if it does emojis or not, but yeah, that's what I think all the shootings are from, is kids being bullied, and
it's one of the reasons for sure.
Yeah,
management, they're not being heard. They're not being listened to.
And a lot of people give me this excuse. Well, back in my time, we didn't have any shootings and there was bullying. Yeah, back in your time, the bullying stopped at the door, and it doesn't stop at the door anymore. It's all over the internet.
Out of their rooms. It was bad. In Miami, like my kids would tell me from the high schools, like every day at these high schools, there'd be a certain fight. There'd always be a fight, and the teachers would just lock themselves in the rooms. They don't even break the fight up. That is sickening. Mm-hmm. So how do adults who are teachers are supposed to be able to react? Well, they took corporal punishment out of the schools in the 80s, 86 or 88 or something like that, or 90. So, that's really ridiculous, because if the parents are going to teach them right from wrong, and you're sending them to school every single day for 12 years of their life, and they can't teach them right from wrong, and in an atmosphere that needs to have correction, then what are we doing? Because I believe that there are some people who don't need corporal punishment, but I think there are some out there who need a whack in the ass. I'm just sorry, I'm old time, but I do believe that. I do believe that, and here I am. I'm sure some of my spiritualists are going, MJ! Oh my God. But, there's just some people who learn and there's some people who don't learn. That's just how it is, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my thought. Yeah, that's my flip. There really isn't a good flip for the bullying besides knock it off.
Right.
Stop it. Right? I don't.
And sometimes sometimes you can fight bullying with empathy, but you got to remember that that bully, there could be two sides of that bully.
Some kids are taught right from wrong and choose to be bullies.
That's true too.
Yeah.
Way to go, Harold.
Yeah, that freaked me out.
That's a deep voice,
right? I think it changes voices though.
Yeah. And I think some kids are just too afraid to speak up. I think that they get so pressured between the parents thinking that they're going to get in trouble, or the teachers are going to get in trouble, or how them being bullied, they're going to somehow get in trouble. And I think that's the silenceness. I think that's where that silenceness comes from.
It changes whenever it wants.
I'm going to punch your lights out. Just like that stupid stuck.
It changes when it wants. I love it.
Also, he hits you because he likes you.
That's like pulling hair, right? Kindergarten little guy pulling hair. I like you. I have to hurt you because I like you. That's pretty sick. That is a sick concept, little man. Anywho, there are beyond the headlines tonight. We are past our 1 hour mark.
We are.
Please don't tell our
director. Don't tell him.
Director.
Don't tell the station manager either, because she'll come after you.
He wouldn't give a shit. Not like he does anything anyway. So
we are so in trouble. Okay, folks, I love having this.
I just want to type and see what THR voice sounds like.
Oh, it doesn't sound good. I didn't like it. Let's try fairy voices. So, anywho, maybe we can talk to that director and maybe get another half-hour time on this this beautiful station, so that we can always come with tales and fun.
Wait a minute. We don't have anybody. We don't have.
Have a good night, y'all.
Oh, I like that. It's y'all. Y'all. They're from Texas, or at least from the South. The South shall rise again, isn't that what they say?
Exactly. That Lone Star State. They're all loners. So, well, we can. So then you bring up your topic of discussion there, Nightmare.
Oh, well.
Oklahoma.
Okay, that's far enough south. I get it.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes rushing to the trees.
I used to live in Oklahoma.
Okay.
No, I think she was saying have a good night, y'all, and then she was telling us where she was calling from.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I have no idea. The only thing that bothers me is there's a lot of talk everywhere, and I'm not seeing results. There's a lot of talk about these, and you can't believe everything that you hear on TikTok, because you'll hear some say, "Oh, well, we got all this stuff approved," and it's like, no, you don't. And I don't know why people do that. They do like you've seen it. There's fake TikToks about somebody like dying, and it's the right information, but it's the wrong picture.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not sure I could ever take anything off of social media and call it truth.
No,
can't.
but
It's kind of like the commercials that you get that pop up. You're like, I'll be damned if I'm gonna just tag on one of them. I don't care what kind of sponsored thing it is. I ain't tagging it. I mean, really, Joel, do you really listen to TikTok and find that you agree or you believe in it? Come on, Joel.
No, but when it brings
Quack,
up
quack! No. I'm sorry, I had a little Tourette's.
we will make sure that we do another cartoon of another character, and instead of it saying "Welcome back," it'll be like "Namaste."
Oh, there you go. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Peter Pan, man. That was an add color flavor word.
Yes.
It's a decorated sentence. Means no harm, no foul. Joel's looking at me like, there is something wrong with this chick. There is really something wrong. It's all good, Joel.
There's nothing wrong with you.
Oh, I know.
We're just relaxing. We're just chilling. We're just talking,
So to be quite honest, I'm going to share something with the crew.
Okay.
So there's something called Mr. Moxie. You ever heard of it?
No.
Well, they're artisan mints. And they are delectable, discreet mints. So what I thought I was taking was 20 mgs of CBD, but I'm not. So as I chewed my little mint a half hour ago, I understand that is not 20 CBDs. I misread it.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, I know. So that's why.
So what is it?
It's actually THC. It says, I thought it was the reverse. I thought it was high because I take a lot of CBD for my illness. And so I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I thought it said 50 because I didn't have my glasses on. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to use a Mr. Moxie. And they're kind of new. And it says it's 500 mg CBDs and 20 mgs of THC. I am happy. I am very, very calm. I am very happy. I don't even think I really hate your quacker. So it can't be all that. It can't be all that upsetting, right? We just can't. That's the smile. Look at Joel. This is not happening.
I'm just listening. The only thing that I'm not doing that, like a shrink would do is,
yeah.
At least I wasn't doing that,
Well, at least you're not like this. Oh, do you, MJ? Yeah. I see now. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
That's what you're writing in there?
Half the time they're drawing a picture. Half the time they're drawing a picture.
They're writing their shopping list.
Right?
Keep talking. Just keep talking. That's an hour. Goodbye. See you later.
Time's up. Okay, now I need to go shopping.
My time's up. You talked for a whole hour. I can't even have nothing to say. I'm sorry. Should I be sorry, Joel?
No.
Okay. He has a serious face on. It's the H train serious face. He still wants to play with his little chat buddy. The AI chatter.
TikTok.
I think when Joel gets lonely at night and he can't speak, he decides to have a relationship with his GPT tech guy.
Well, it's the only one that can truly understand me. That's the damn truth. Shit. It decodes better than my wife does. And the scary thing is it gives me good responses.
Yeah, but you got to watch that because that's programmed by a human. You have to, I love GPT because it really puts a lot of the words in perspective. But there's some times where if you really read it for triggers, how somebody else will read it really depends on what AI human put that in there. Yeah. Just be careful out there, everybody. Because there's some times where you can have it go, man, that sounds good, but we're not reading it as somebody else would be reading it, right?
Right.
And then that becomes a big trigger for some of those words, just like the 10 words that we try to take out of vocabulary, and I'd be like, you ain't shouldn't on me. Like, you don't control me. That's a demand. So yeah. Anywho, that is my logic of thought today.
Tracer, did you have another topic that you guys wanted to discuss, or
Not really. I just was kind of astounded and fascinated at the same time by the want to change Veterans Day. I mean, it changed from Armistice Day to Veterans Day, and so I wasn't sure why it needed to change back. Just because there's so many campaigns that we've had, Grenada, the Haitian Vacation, Afghanistan, Iraq, and every time they need new funding for a war, they change the name. So are we going to then recognize Operation Endeavor, Endeavor and Enduring Freedom and all these others? I mean, are we going to keep going through the whole gamut of all the campaigns we've had and celebrate all of them? So that's why I'm like, no, just one day should work, right? And then just celebrate veterans by taking care of them. That's my take.
Yeah. Do more for first responders. I don't think just veterans.
Oh my gosh, isn't that a key thing? Okay, so check this out, okay? Have you ever thought about this? And I'm not going to name anybody, but have you ever thought about this? Like, there's a lot of nonprofits out there that are opening up the invitation to first responders along with military, okay?
Yeah.
A lot of them out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every single event that I've went to so far, and I mean, I haven't been to a bunch, but I've been to like 3 or 4. Finding a first responder at one of those events is like finding coasting. It is so hard. Sometimes I feel that nonprofits are opening the invitation, but they're not grabbing like they say they're gonna grab. You know what I mean? They're looking for military first instead of, okay, maybe look for it this week, maybe look for this week. I don't know, but I don't know. It kind of bothers me. What do you guys think?
Well, I think it's about recruitment. It's where you're recruiting. I mean, you have to go to the cities. The cities are where all the first responders are. Cities and counties, that's where they reside. So if you're not hitting the city and recruiting from the cities in your surrounding towns, you're not going to get the first responders. You've got to hit the social sites that they frequent. So if people really want first responders in their groups, they really have to then target their engagement with those organizations, because if they don't, they're not going to get them. Because for veterans, we hit all the sources we know that veterans are going to likely be at. And so our messaging is targeted at them. But if we want to target first responders, we have to target them where they live, and we're not.
Yeah, like our first responders up here, where I'm from, it's all volunteer. Every firefighter here is volunteer, and they make money by having bingos, or they have a bar or a restaurant in them, and then people pay to be a member, and then you can help support by those, or they'll have carnivals, or they'll have events that they draw the money. And so imagine people having a full-time 40-hour job, but also being a firefighter. So if that whistle, you hear that whistle going off, these people in these other jobs, they honor that, and they allow them to just leave work, saying, go, you're being, it is an emergency, and that's truly emergency. If your house is on fire, you need something. Now the EMTs and paramedics, those first responders there, those types, I think that is a paid job here, but these volunteer for firefighters, God love them. And I know because Miami firefighters got paid a shit ton of money and just be a firefighter down there. And most of them had to go through the training in the school and the first responders. So they're EMT, paramedic, firefighter, first response. They are all of the above. And I get that. And I also get that they get paid just to do that. They also get paid well because they're living at the station for 2 or 3 days at a time.
Depending upon how they do some do 48 and 96, so 48 on, 96 off. Some do every third day. So it really depends on how they're staffed, and if they're working 2 days on and 3 days off, or how their group does it.
I'm just like I said, I'm very proud because an emergency happens in these little small towns up here, and those firefighters are cognitively and consciously aware, and they will drop everything and go. That's their commitment, and that is just, to me, volunteering. That is just beautiful. So for me, when I see that one of them get hurt or injured on the job, it really hurts my heart. It hurts my heart back because they don't get paid for it. Veterans get paid for their services. People in the bigger cities as EMT or first responders get paid for their service. These little towns, there's some times that I would rather just go and do fundraisers for them because they are service first, and they do put themselves in a lot of danger in those buildings, especially if somebody says there's an animal or a person or something in there. They really put their life on the line. So, yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So from my heart to theirs, I appreciate you. For anybody who lives in a small town who has volunteer fire companies, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Because that is a total gift to heal and support the service to others there. Yeah. So, yes, thanks for bringing that up.
Absolutely, Joel. Thanks.
Yeah, Joel, way to go. What other thing did you bring up? He's digging in his goodie basket.
Veterans, be patient with other veterans because chances are the same thing that you want, another veteran wants, but he doesn't know how to navigate it either. So instead of being upset, look into it. Get recon it. Recon it, and then after you recon it, then you can come back and do a tutorial. You don't have to have a podcast or be a part of a nonprofit to do good things for veterans.
That's right.
The doing good thing for veterans starts with you. It doesn't matter if you know him or if you don't know him. Just talking to a veteran for 8 minutes every day, it not only does something for you, but it does something for them as well. So I encourage and remind everybody, the next time, think about this, the next time you're out in public and, somebody's like walking around naked or something or making some kind of noise, don't spray them with off or anything. Try to see if they need to talk to somebody or something. Step out of your bubble. I guess that's what I'm saying. And when to step out of your bubble and when not to.
So it's kind of hard when they're naked, when there's a skeeter on their Peter and you got to whack it off. I mean, oh my gosh. This is awful. This is just awful. All right. MJ has to go because MJ is just awful tonight. This is what happens when you screw up your meds.
I don't think you're awful. I think today's been a really good show.
Oh, look at there. Maybe I should screw up my CBD, my THC more often. Joel likes that about MJ. Not that I mind. It's Cinco de Mayo and I don't drink, so
I didn't even learn about Cinco de Mayo until I came to Colorado. We don't have Cinco de Mayo in Indiana. It's like I didn't even know about it.
Yeah, you got to be in a population where there's a lot of Latinos, especially from Texas. I'm sure Terry's heard it down there in Texas. Florida is nuts. Every bar you wait, the Caliochos and the Cinco de Mayos, and it's a lot. And then you're like, and I honor your nationality. Can I just party with you? Can I just come with you? I don't know the language, but I'm just gonna party with you.
I just like the beat.
That's right. I can go dance. You all drink your margaritas, and I'll just dance.
Well, Cinco de Mayo really isn't even celebrated in Mexico. It's mostly celebrated in the U.S.
Yeah, and St. Patrick's Day isn't celebrated in Ireland. It's only separated in the U.S. So what does that tell us? We got a lot of mentally ill son of a guns.
No, that just tells us we're in the mood for a party all the time.
Right, we're honoring. Come on, we're honoring that denomination. We're honoring that ethic. We're honoring, just like we honor Cancer Month and Pride Month and Veterans Month and Mother's Day is coming up. So
it is, yeah. Happy Mother's Day
to
all the
mothers. Right. Why are we honoring them? Come on.
You guys got Mother's Day is not this Sunday, is it?
It is.
It is a Sunday.
So get your gifts. Yeah.
Alert.
Get your gifts for mom.
Alert. Get your gifts for mom. Alert. Right. Alert. Get your gifts for mom.
Send her a text, send her an email, call her, tell her Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I got a week. My mother went to my nephew's in Montana, and then she's going to Denver. So look at that.
So you got a little time.
But I have to go because when she gets home, she gets her tooth out. And I said, look at Happy Mother's Day. I'm here to take you to get your tooth out.
She's like, thanks, MJ. That's great. Love ya. Mean it.
I aim to be at your beck and call.
At your disposal.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, it's Mother's Day. And then of course you have Father's Day. Look at those stuff. Yeah, I know. They get their own little day too. So
right in a row.
Right. And then didn't we have something that the Biden administration added to our calendar? I can't remember what it was. Oh my gosh.
I'm not sure.
He added something. He added a religional holiday. Not a religious, it's an ethic holiday or a stereotype holiday.
Are you talking about 19th?
Oh yeah. Juneteenth or Juneteenth or
Juneteenth.
Oh, I was way off.
But I don't think that was him because I think that was done when Obama was still president. Juneteenth. I mean, it's been a thing in Texas for a long time, but it wasn't a national holiday until just 5-6 years ago at the most.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't celebrate it. Sorry, cancel, clear, delete. I don't know about it. If I don't know about it, then but I do know about it. See, so I can't even say that. See, I can't.
That's when the slaves finally found out they were freed. Juneteenth. That's what that is, and they celebrate that here in Texas, and have for a long time. But it wasn't nationalized until like 5 years ago.
Yeah. See, I believe in that. But I still believe that Mrs. Butterworth was robbed from her title and Aunt Jemima. Those poor people. They got robbed just because somebody else didn't like it. Their families wanted it. They wanted the royalty. So why did they change it? They did something great. Whew. Yep. Anybody out there? Got anything? It is one of those days. It's
And,
been
you
real.
know, and the thing about TikTok is like, I mean, it's like a stalker waiting for the white van down by the river, you know? They're just sitting there watching. They don't say anything. They just sit there and watch.
Right. They're waiting
They
for
don't
the
give no gifts, nothing. They just sit there and watch.
But that's nice. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching.
20, 27. I mean, it just keeps on going up.
So it is all good. But I truly think this is the end because MJ is really needing to go. And you guys can continue. But MJ's quietly saying, we either need to take a break or we need to go.
All right.
Well, I think we can go.
Okay. It has been a pleasure. Honestly, it really has. And I am super, super excited, of course, for MBR to be just there for veterans, to give them the voice and first responders. Even though you're not participating first responders, we'll get them. I hashtag them. So maybe we'll get some more in, Joel, for you in your station here. And Terry, it's always my pleasure. I love being with you. And
I love being with you too. Yeah, and I have a first responder coming up on my show, I think in June. I used to work with him, and so he's coming up, and he's a chief. So,
see,
so he'll be able to, yeah, so he'll be able to talk to that side of the first responder issues and how to navigate getting a hold of them and bringing them into the fold. So, yeah, he's very well spoken and he's very smart, and he will definitely be a good conversationalist. So I'm excited to have him.
And remember, everybody, September 20th, Buddy Bowl flag football for charity is happening here in the Denver, Colorado area. So that means that if you're a first responder and you want to play or you want to support some way, it's a great opportunity to visit Colorado. Just saying, you know. So I think it's going to be a good time, and we can get them involved as well. So.
Sounds good.
I just may come out and throw a pigskin with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Put your little flags on these hips. Watch this Italian run down that field, baby. Jill's like, yeah, she's one over the cuckoo's nest there. It's all good.
Oh, you're good.
All right, my friends, we'll be back next week, Monday at 7 o'clock. This is Beyond the Headlines with H-Train right below. We got my friend Terry here, and of course, I am MJ. We're here on MBR Radio, mbradio.us. It's military broadcast radio where the veterans always have their voice, no matter if they're silly or not. You got it. We'll see Terry tomorrow night on her show at 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. Eastern, yeah.
There you go. So,
All right.
friends, family, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.